Hi everyone, I'm Emma, founder of Just Unique Pilates, which brings you Pilates classes and routines that are creative, effective and accessible. Today is all about Pilates for awareness, control, finding our center. So when you're ready, grab yourself a mat, get a little bit of space and come and join me. So bring yourself down onto your back. You're going to have your knees bent, your feet flat, and you're going to have your knees and your feet in line with the bony parts of your hips. The back of the head, the shoulder blades are down on the mat, and your spine is nice and neutral. You're just going to shuffle your feet in so that the heels are underneath the knees, and I just want you to place your hands onto your hips. So I just want to start with some pelvic tilts. These are really lovely for finding awareness through that pelvis, finding a nice neutral spine, and just being aware of your core muscles as well. So when you're ready, take a deep breath in and just flatten your back into the mat, rolling your hips in towards you. And I just want you to feel the deep layer of the core, the deep layer of the abdominals really pulling in. You're feeling your belly button pulling down towards the spine, and I just want you to breathe in and out as you hold that. So we're just in an imprinted spine where our spine is flat down into the mat, and then just tilt back to neutral where you've got a tiny arch underneath your back, enough for one hand to fit underneath your back. And then we go again, so we're flatten the back down and just keep coming in and out of that. You can hold it a little bit and then release again, and just become aware of that little tilt, the hips rolling in, the core engaging. Now as we do this, don't activate the glutes just yet, so it's all about this midsection at the moment. Lovely. When you're ready, on the next one, we're going to roll those hips in and we're going to start to peel off of the mat, like we're peeling off bit by bit. So we're going to roll our hips in, flatten the back, and we're going to start to peel our lower back, our middle back, all the way up, and we balance on our shoulder blades, the top of the back. We're not putting any pressure on the neck, and we're in a sloping line from the knees down to the shoulders. You can keep your hands on your hips, or you can now have them by your side with the palms facing down for a little bit of support. And I now want you to really engage the glutes and the legs as well. Let's see if we can roll our hips in towards us a little more and really lengthen out through those hips at the front. And then slowly roll down from the upper back first. Feel that rib cage close in to the middle back, to the lower, coming back to neutral. And then we go again. We flatten the back and we roll all the way up bit by bit into that bridge. Now if a full bridge feels a little bit too much, you can always stick with a half or the pelvic tilts, which are really nice as well. Slowly roll back down and just do that a couple more times in your own time. And again, the key here is to feel the spine move as much as possible, making sure the knees aren't opening, they're staying nice and parallel. Let's engage our pelvic floor, our deep core muscles, and remember to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly roll all the way down. When you're ready, just stop in a neutral position and just hold that. Hips, pelvis nice and neutral, your lower back. And I just want you to keep hold of the hips, and on your exhale just let your right leg fall out to the side and then squeeze it back to center, and then let the left side go. Let the leg fall to the side and come back to center. Now be a little bit more aware when you do it. Keep changing from right to left, and as you let the leg fall, don't let the hips fall. Really engage your core so that nothing else moves, and come back to center. I want you to imagine you've got drinks on your hips and they're nice and steady. So again, this is really nice as we go from right to left, to find that awareness, to allow different parts of the body to move with control without anything else moving, being aware of the rest of the body. So this time we're going to combine both together. So bring yourself back to the legs being parallel again. We're going to come back into that pelvic tilt, but this time we're going to start to roll all the way up into a bridge. So we're going to flatten the back, and then we're going to peel our tailbone, our lower back, our middle back off of the mat and start to lift. So we've got a nice sloping line from our knees down to our shoulders. The neck is nice and free, head is down, the weight is pressed through those shoulder blades. And I just want you to now activate the glutes and the legs so they can now switch on. But I just want you to hold it there and really tuck the pelvis under, so you're rolling your hips towards you, and really feel that awareness again of that deep layer of the core, really putting in. And we're going to combine bridge, staying in bridge, with that leg opener. So it's a little bit more challenging, and if this feels too much, you can always come back to the first option we did, where we was down in a neutral position. Otherwise, we're going to stay up in that bridge, and we're going to allow the right leg again to fall out to the side, and then come back to center, and then move to the left side and back to center. So as you do this, you really need to concentrate on staying up in that bridge, rolling those hips under, not letting ourselves sink. So it's a little bit more challenging. You're going to feel more through the glutes, more through the hips, but we still need that awareness to make sure the hips are not rolling and we're not coming out of that bridge. Just do that a couple more times to each side, keeping the other leg nice and steady, and then slowly come back to neutral and roll all the way down through the spine. Lovely. When you're ready, step your feet away from you by one step, so not too far, and you're going to have your arms pressed by your side, palms facing down. And on the exhale, you're going to sweep your arms up and over the head down to the floor behind you, without the rib cage opening, without the back arching. I really want you to engage through the core, and then bring your arms back by your side on the inhale. Let's go again. Exhale, sweep the arms up and over the head to the floor behind you, by the side of your ears. Palms are now facing up towards the ceiling, and then bring the arms back. So again, it's this awareness of making sure the rib cage doesn't open, the back doesn't arch, nothing is flaring, shoulders are not rolling forwards, they're staying down and away from the ears. When you're ready, on this next one, keep your arms by your side and just bring your right leg up to tabletop. So that's where you've got your shin parallel to the ceiling, knee on top of the hip. Again, you may just want to feel the hips, make sure they're nice and neutral, and then place your arms back by your side. Or you can keep your hands on your hips if you feel you have more control here. And you're going to push your leg nice and long in front, and I want you to flex your foot like you're pushing something away from you. This leg is going to stay straight, but don't grip into the knee. Keep the knee soft. And you're going to lower the leg down towards the mat. Just before it touches the mat, you're going to lift the leg back up. Now, only bring the leg as high up towards the ceiling as you can without your hips moving and rolling. And then you're going to lower the leg back down. It hovers just off of the mat, and then you lift it back up. So I just want you to keep lifting and lowering this same leg, keeping this awareness through the pelvis. And then we're now going to sweep our arms up and above us, palms facing away from us, fingertips up towards the ceiling. The arms are just hovered above the chest. Press the shoulder blades into the mat, and we're going to keep lowering and lifting through that leg, keeping the same control and awareness. So you really, again, need to use the core. You need to keep your hips stable, really focusing on the arms not moving. Good. Bring the leg back to tabletop, lower it down, keep the arms up, and switch to the other leg. The other leg comes up to tabletop. You push the leg nice and long in front, flex the foot like you're pushing something away from you, and then keep that leg straight as you lower it down towards the mat, and then come back up. So the lower you go, the more challenging it's going to be to make sure your back doesn't arch and your core stays engaged. So if you can't drop the leg as low, that's absolutely fine. Go where you can. And if you need your arms back by your side or on your hips, do that as well. But otherwise, keep the arms up, hovered above you, and you're just lifting and lowering that leg, keeping this lovely control. Exhale to lower. Inhale to come back up. Now, when I move on to the next stage in a minute, if it feels too much, please come back to what we were just doing here. Okay, so you can have one leg down at a time. Otherwise, bend the leg you were just moving into tabletop, shin parallel to the ceiling, knee on top of the hip, and now bring the other leg up to join that leg. So both legs are now in tabletop, the legs are still parallel. From here, we go back to the first leg. We stretch it out nice and long. We flex the foot like you're pushing something away. And you go back to that lift and lower. So the leg is straight. The arms are hovered above your chest. Now here is going to be a lot more challenging to make sure the arms don't move. The back doesn't arch. The other leg doesn't come out of tabletop. And you keep that control as you lift and lower the leg. So again, if this feels too much, go back to the first option. Otherwise, stay with this. Lower the leg and lift it back up. Keep that lovely control. When you're ready, switch to the other side. That leg you were just moving comes to tabletop. The other leg pushes out nice and long, and we lift and lower the leg in that straight position. Shoulder blades still spread across the mat, arms still reaching up, or maybe you've tweaked it a little bit to suit you, and that's absolutely fine as well. But exhale to lower the leg, inhale to come back up. Really deepen that core, that belt feeling around that midsection. And we'll just do this a couple more times. And then when you're ready, come back to tabletop. Lower one leg down at a time. Stretch your arms above the head and come into a lovely full body stretch. Reach your arms, reach your legs nice and long. When you're ready, bring yourself over onto your front. So you're going to bring yourself onto your hands and your knees, and if this is not comfortable, if you've got any wrist or knee pain, you can try this in a standing position with a little bit of balance, holding onto a wall, where you bring the opposite arm to leg in. But if you can, let's be on the hands and the knees. You're going to have your hands directly underneath your shoulders, shoulder width apart, and we're going to spread those hands nice and wide. And you're going to have your knees underneath your hips, hip distance apart, shins and the top of the foot are down towards the mat. Let's press through the hands and the knees, and let's round all the way up into a lovely cat stretch. So I really want you to feel that spine move. I want you to feel that even weight through the hands, through the knees. And then you're going to slowly melt down the opposite way, where we lift the chest. We feel the head lift, the glutes. We're not sinking into the lower back, but you're finding this length. And then we come back up into cat stretch. So just keep coming in and out of these two extremes. Again, find that center point through the hands and the knees. You're not pressing more into one side than the other. Feel how the spine can move, the pelvis. And then slowly find somewhere in the middle of those two extremes. So again, we're finding a nice neutral. Keep pressing the hands into the mat so you're not sinking into those shoulders. And when you're ready, keeping both hip bones facing down towards the floor, you're going to glide your right leg long behind you. And then you're going to lift it up to hip level without your back sinking. So again, really be aware of the body, this lovely awareness, this lovely control. Tap the leg back down, keep it straight, and then draw the knee back in. And then we change to the other side. We reach the other leg nice and long. Top of the foot is still on the mat. We then lift that leg to hip level, really engaging that core, no sinking into the back. We slowly lower that leg down, leg is still straight. Top of the foot goes on the mat. And then we draw that knee back in, and just keep switching a couple of times. And this is nice to stay with if the next part feels a little bit too much as well. But again, it's about finding this balance, finding this control through the body, this center point. When you're ready, reach one leg nice and long behind you. Bring it up to hip level, long behind you. And now when you're ready, we're going to come back into almost like a little cat stretch, but with the leg hugging in. So when you're ready, round your spine up towards the ceiling, but that leg you've got reached behind, hug the knee right in towards you, like you're trying to tuck your head towards your knee, and then lengthen back out into a nice neutral position. So we're not coming into that extension. And we reach the leg nice and long behind us again. And then we repeat that again. We hug that knee and the head in towards us. We find that lovely cat stretch. And then we reach out nice and long. Good. When you're ready, let's do that a couple more times. So again, you can stay with this option. Really be centered through the body still, really aware of the body. When you're ready, come back to a neutral position, reach that leg nice and long behind you, and now reach the opposite arm nice and long in front of you, and just see if you can hold it there. Really find that center point, find that balance. And then when you're ready, you're now going to hug the elbow and the knee in. They don't cross over one another, they stay parallel. You come back into that nice rounded cat stretch, tucking the head and the tailbone under, and then you lengthen the opposite arm and leg back out. You come back to neutral, and then you go again. And don't worry if you wobble. I definitely found this challenging this morning. You can rest your hand down if you need to, take your time. If you wobble, it's fine. Just find that control again. So just keep coming in and out of this. We'll do that a couple more times before we switch to the other side. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then when you're ready, draw that hand and leg in. Sit back if you need to, or let's go straight to the other side. We reach the other leg nice and long behind us. We lift it up to hip level. Both hands are down at the moment. We draw that knee in towards the chest. We round our spine all the way up to the ceiling. And then we lengthen our spine back out and we let the leg reach nice and long behind us. And we repeat that a couple more times, hugging that knee in. The hands are there to support us at the moment. Stay with this option if you want to. You may be doing this standing, so you're doing a rounded standing, bringing that knee in, holding onto a wall. Otherwise, when you're ready, reach the opposite arm nice and long, find that center point, find that balance. And now without the elbow and the knee crossing, they stay parallel to one another. You hug the knee and the elbow in, you tuck the tailbone, you tuck the head, and you feel yourself rounding, and then you lengthen back out. You find that reach through the body, and then you bring it back in. So you're finding that balance, that control, that awareness through the body. Let's reach back out. We're going to do this a couple more times. This is your last exercise, so really put everything into it. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then when you're ready, bring the hands and the knee down. Sit back into child's pose. Sit back onto the heels. Give those wrists a little rotate. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And then slowly roll yourself up. Sit nice and tall. And you are done. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found some mind and body connection and balance. I hope you found some awareness. You maybe learnt something new about your body. Maybe what side's tighter, what side you have more control. And so yes, if you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up. That always helps me out. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you click the bell button next to the subscribe button, you will be the first to get notified every time I upload. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you would like to see in future. And other than that, have an amazing day and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.